Today, I am going to be switching my black motherboard back to my green motherboard. Why, you might ask? Okay, well, that's what I did. I'm doing this video to explain. This is not gonna be a tech video, so I'm not gonna show you my process and how I, show the uninstall and reinstall of the green motherboard. I'm not gonna show that part. But I did wanna do a video today explaining my reasons briefly, as opposed to the longer written posts that I will typically do from time to time. I'll try it this way, see how it goes. Anyway, the reason that I'm doing this is because when I test this, well, it rides great. I mean, I love the black motherboard. It feels smooth. It feels, the firmware programming, whatever it is, it makes the wheel feel even smoother than this green motherboard. And the green motherboard the green one felt smooth, but this one feels even smoother. But the reason I want to take it out is because there's a discrepancy with the speed readings. I'm not really sure that I trust this wheel's top end performance. Just because I'm getting some discrepancies in the speed reading between the Bigodi app and the EUC World app. So on the EUC World app, when I do the free spin test at 100% battery, I'm getting, 99 miles per hour. 99 kilometers per hour, which, anybody who rides a Monster Pro knows that that's absurd, right? That's an absurd reading. Shouldn't be spinning like that unless they change the programming to torque or something like that. And I wouldn't want that one, for sure. On the other hand, when I spin this free spin the wheel on the Bigodi app, I get 107 kilometers per hour, which, in both cases is slower than the free spin result that I got with the original green board that was in. And I never tested it on the Bigodi app. On the EUC World app, the free spin for the green board was about 108, 109, something like that. More than satisfactory for me to not be concerned about the wheel's top end performance. So because of that, I am going to take out this black motherboard, reinstall my green motherboard right here, and then I'll keep this one as a backup motherboard. And then I'll probably just buy or order a version, the latest version green motherboard. They've gone back to the green motherboards now, and I'll probably just order the latest version of that and install that when it comes. Now, some things to be aware of, I wanted to mention. When I get that green board, whatever board I get, because I have this big bearing motor, I don't really have any immediate intention to switch to the smaller bearing motor. I have no need for that. I mean, if something goes wrong with this one, then maybe I'll do that, because you got to buy the new inner shell, and you got to get the wheel and, of course, the motherboard. But the disadvantage to keeping my big bearing motor is that I can't do the firmware upgrades on the newer style, on the newer versions of the motherboard that allow firmware upgrades over the app. Those of you who have these big bearing motors won't be able to do those firmware upgrades. Now, so in my mind, that basically, kills any reason for anybody to upgrade their motherboard unnecessarily. If you have a big bearing motor, you can't, for me, that would be like one of the main reasons to do it, to make it easier to do firmware upgrades and change the firmware settings if I want, if they come out with better versions of it. Or if I don't like a later version, I want to go back to a previous version, I could do that. For example, if I had the small bearing motor, I could probably correct this issue that's causing me to take this motherboard out. I could probably fix that over the app if I had the small bearing motor. But because I don't, I have to take the motherboard out and put the old motherboard back in. So, the advancements that have been made are great. Kingsong has been doing that for a long time, enabling me to upgrade firmware over the app. From time to time, you brick a wheel doing it that way. There's the technology, but I think the technology is probably getting better and better with that. So I've had, for years, I've been dealing with my Kingsong wheels that way. But now I can do it with my Bigodi wheels, provided I have the latest motor, which is the small bearing version. I'm not too interested in that. It's not that big of a deal. I've ridden these wheels for years without those, without that capability. So it's okay with me. But for those of you who are just coming in the game and thinking about getting, buying a Bugatti wheel for you guys, that'll be awesome, you know. And at some point, if this, when this motor gets old or whatever, you know, I need to go back and handle some business, then I'll probably buy that small version, small bearing motor, and so that I can have all the latest capabilities that this wheel offers. But for now, I'm going to stick to it the way that it is. Now, another disadvantage that's going to happen when I go back to this green motherboard is that I'm going to lose range. Because, you know, I was one of the early people to order a motherboard. So this is like the first version that they had. And these versions were programmed to reach zero capacity at 80 volts like their previous wheels. They hadn't yet changed the parameters for battery capacity with this board. So I'm going from 100.8 to 80 volts, so that makes my Monster Pro a shorter range wheel. This one is 75, 74 volts, 74, 75 volts. It's empty. I believe it's 75 volts, they're saying. So that's pretty awesome. The range has more range. But, you know, I prefer the speed. I prefer to feel secure when I'm going, you know, pretty fast. You know, I don't, I've been assured by Bugatti that this version, the black version of the board, that the real speed is not any different than this board, okay? But I just don't feel comfortable with those different readings until that's worked out. I don't believe it can be worked out with this board. For this wheel, I'd have to order a different board. You know, I'm not really interested in ordering another black board. If I'm going to order another board, I'm going to order the latest version, which I in fact intend to do. So when after reinstalling this one, I intend to order the latest version of the board of the Mobos, and then when that one comes, I'll install that, and hopefully everything works out well. In the meantime, that's pretty much why I'm doing it. You know, again, I'll say to people who have the big bearing motors, there's really no reason for you guys to, in my opinion, it's just my humble opinion. There's so many out there on social media. You know, I'm just going to throw mine into the hat on this matter, which is something I rarely do, you know, unsolicited. But today I'm going to, because I'm doing this video, I'm going to suggest that if you have your original motor in your Monster Pro or any Bugatti wheel, that there's really no major advantage to you guys. If there's nothing wrong with your Mobo, there's really no major advantage to you guys switching to one of the black boards or the later boards. At this point, I don't know what kind of advancements will come on the motherboards that will make them retrofittable, make the capabilities retrofittable. Well, a lot of the capabilities of this black board are not retrofittable to the old motor. So, for example, I mentioned already the firmware upgrades. You can't do that with these. So, given that the advantages of the newer boards are not necessarily transferable to the older motors, you know, you probably should keep your current motherboard in until you need a new one. And then when you have to buy another one, you'll probably only have the newer versions available anyway. So that'll probably be what you end up with anyway. So yeah, so on that note, that's pretty much all I'm going to say. Like I said, this is not a technical video. I'm not going to take you guys through the process. I just want to chat a little bit instead of you know, very long written explanation. Do a probably too long video explanation. We'll try that. Anyway, peace.